Jai Gurudev, my name is Vivek, and this video is super special because I want to talk about how you can achieve enormous levels, massive levels of success in your life when it comes to your career, whatever you're trying to accomplish, your goals, your dreams in life, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your profession, when it comes to your business, whatever it is that you are trying to do. And all of this is possible. You can make 2019 the greatest year of your life. And all of this is possible with the help of an upcoming program by the Art of Living Foundation known as the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It's actually a discourse on the subject of Patanjali Yoga Sutras by the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, Sri Ravi Shankar ji. And there are 7 points. Now, the best way for me to talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutras and how it can help you is to share my own story with you, right? And how this program actually helped me in my life personally. And when I go back after listening to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, whatever happened in my life, there are 7 things, okay? There are 7 aspects in which the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the discourse by Sri Ravi Shankar ji on Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which is starting on 25th 25th of February, which is basically in the next few days, can help you in your life. So, like I said, the best way is to share my story with you. Now, last year, back in 2018, last year, in the month of August, I was working in my job and I had to work 12, 13, 14 hours in a day, including my travel time. And I just had one thought in my mind that, you know what, if I'm actually working this much hard in my job, why not do something for myself? So all I wanted in my life was to have a business of my own where I could control my time, I could control my income. And but there were a few obstacles. I was lazy, I was lethargic, there was a routine of laziness, coming back from work after working really hard. I enjoyed, stress eating good food, watching TV series and movies on Netflix. And there were a whole host of things which were stopping me from working even harder to quit my job so I could get into a business for myself. I was physically not ready. I was mentally, emotionally, absolutely not ready. I was directionless. I had no plans to actually take the next step and achieving my dreams. And that's when this program really helped. So I want to talk about, and then of course a few things happened. I left my job, things worked out well for me, and now I'm also writing a book known as Marketing Secrets for Trainers and Coaches, which by the way has Guruji, Sri Ravi Shankar ji, his interview about marketing is there in this book as well. So hopefully this is also something for you to consider in the next few weeks when I do a full-blown launch of this book. But coming back to the topic, I've made a few notes, so I can almost guarantee that I'm giving my 100% through these notes in this video. Let's talk about those 7 points. So point number 1 is it helped me in overcoming laziness, lethargy, and getting really focused in life. I mean, there are things that are stopping us, right? For some people, it's the light things, like eating a lot, like watching movies, really investing time, energy, effort, and money into the things that are not giving you any benefit in your life. For some people, these habits are very serious. I mean, getting into drinking, alcohol, smoking, gambling, addiction to sex. All of these are real life problems which could, and at various levels and various degrees, could stop you from moving ahead in your life. So the knowledge in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, that the way Guruji is about to teach you, will absolutely 100%, and I can almost guarantee, because I cannot control what happens in your life, but I can almost guarantee that the knowledge in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras discourse is so profound, is so transformational, that automatically you'll find that in just the first few chapters, the control over your mind is going to increase dramatically, right? That comes from my personal experience. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is you'll be able to, the knowledge will allow you to deepen your practice, deepen your sadhana, your Sudarshan Kriya, your meditation. And how exactly did it help me? Well, so I used to come back from my work in the metro, and most of the times I was frustrated, and all I wanted to do was meditate. But the problem was that I had to travel from Janakpuri to Karkaduma, and I left the office, around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the night, and by the time I reached home, it was already 10:30 or 11. So it was really hard for me to find some time in middle to meditate, but I really wanted to meditate. But the problem was that I could not meditate in the metro. Well, the knowledge in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the way Guruji teaches the knowledge in Patanjali Yoga Sutras really allowed me to deepen my practice in such a way that even after so much chaos, so much noise, hundreds of people in one coach in the metro, I was able to peacefully meditate. Now think about what this could do for you in your life. You don't have to meditate in the metro, but then you have a lot of thoughts, you have a lot of botherations, external and internal, which are stopping you from meditation. Patanjali Yoga Sutras is an opportunity for you to just smash all of those problems and really sit for meditation and go deep inside of it. That's point number two. The point number three is, when I left my job, and if you know me professionally, if you know me personally as well, people identify me to be a very social, a very high energy person. And all of this, that undying, fire, the energy comes from obviously the spiritual practices. But then when you go through the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Guruji really teaches you the secret of bubbling enthusiasm. There are practical approaches to life, the way Patanjali says it, and there's really some knowledge that you can consume and practically apply in your life to increase your energy levels and to maintain that bubbling enthusiasm, to have that energy flowing into people when they meet you, right? That's really, really, really important. It's $1 million skill, in my opinion, when you meet people. Which brings me to my fourth point, which is, oftentimes in art of living, we hear about a way of living, a philosophy of life, which is known as iPod, inner peace and outer dynamism. So how do you really apply the spiritual practices in such a way that it creates inner peace and outer dynamism in your life? Imagine what it could do for you. Imagine what it could do for you in your life, in your career, when you meet people, when you go for your interviews, when you go for your business meetings, business presentations. Imagine what the attitude of the ability of having inner peace and outer dynamism could do for you in your life. There are a lot of blocks in your mind when it comes to being in public, being on stage, really being able to communicate effectively with people, make videos, do webinars, do presentations on stage. And I want you to personally demolish all of those obstacles. Guess what? All of that is possible with the help of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and all of this comes from my experience. So it's not an official endorsement, but then I'm only sharing my experience. For disclaimer purposes, I have to tell that as well. Also, the fact that these 7 points that I'm sharing with you, 3 more are to go, 4 I've already shared. All of these, I'm just scratching the surface. Well, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the knowledge is so intense, it is so deep, it is so profound that I'm not even qualified to tell you, what the Patanjali Yoga Sutras is all about. So whatever I'm sharing in this video is just probably 1% of the benefit that you can get. And the rest, 99%, is something that even I'm discovering. Every time when I watch the series, I learn something new. And then, of course, 25th of February, the discourse is about to happen. I'll talk about that in detail as well. But let's come back to the rest of the 3 points as well. So recently, I was in the Art of Living International Center, the Bangalore ashram of Art of Living, and I was doing my advanced course. The teacher said that, and even she was talking about the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and she said that Patanjali was one of the greatest scientists in the history when it comes to the spiritual sciences, the spiritual practices. I mean, he knew the mind like not a lot of people actually knew. Now, Guruji talks about a few rules, few dimensions of the mind, the few rules with which the mind operates. And it turns out that we've all learned in Art of Living that your breath really controls your emotions. Now, when you go through the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, you'll actually learn a few rules of the mind. And my mind was actually blown away when I realized that the Sudarshan Kriya that we do, the Sudarshan Kriya practice, the meditation practices that the Art of Living Foundation teaches us are exactly in alignment with what Patanjali said 2000 years ago. I mean, I mean, how fascinating it would be if you could go more in depth into the science behind how the Sudarshan Kriya affects your mind. Of course, AIMS has been doing research on it. There are probably not hundreds, but thousands and thousands of people who have done a lot of research on the Sudarshan Kriya and the art of living meditation practices. But then the way Patanjali talks about the rules of the mind, you'll understand how the roots of the Sudarshan Kriya comes from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Just listening to that knowledge, just listening to Guruji talking about it is going to be a profound experience, in my opinion. The next and one of the most important things is sometimes I talk to my friends about art of living, and we often share that, you know what, आज सुदर्शन क्रिया करी तो उतना मजा नहीं आया, आज करी तो बहुत मजा आया. And sometimes you don't feel like doing kriya, sometimes we don't like sitting for meditation. It turns out that none of these things are random. Okay, listen to this very carefully. None of these things are very random, but these are scientific. There's a scientific explanation to what exactly happens to us on a daily life, and there are about 9 to 12 obstacles. 9 to 12 obstacles in your sadhana. Listen to this very carefully. If you're not able to meditate properly, if you're not able to go deep in, if you're not really fulfilled after your sadhana, there could be, it could be because of 1 out of 9 or maybe 1 out of 12 obstacles that you could have in your sadhana, in your spiritual practices, in your spiritual path. And Guruji uncovers all of these 9 obstacles and tells you how to overcome each of them. In spirituality, in my very, very, very tiny small experience, there's no obstacle outside of these 9 or 12 or 10 obstacles, right? That it basically solves all of your problems when it comes to your spiritual practices. So I'm super pumped up and excited and enthusiastic about attending the discourse by Sri Ravi Shankar ji, Guruji. The last thing that you're going to learn is, so I always thought that, there are a lot of leaders when it comes to yoga and spirituality in India, and oftentimes when we listen to people doing yoga, we get the impression that yoga is all about the physical stuff, twisting your body, but that's not exactly the case. There are 8 limbs of yoga. There are 8 dimensions of yoga. Yoga is not just physically moving your body and sitting in a certain asana. That's probably just 1 out of the 8 limbs, the 8 dimensions of yoga. And for me, it was really almost like a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience when I learned all of these 8 aspects, the 8 dimensions of yoga. So this is from theoretical aspect as well. I learned a lot of things. Now, where do we go from here? So these were the 7 points. Now, if there's a link below this video where you'll be able to register for the discourse by Guruji on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So I humbly, and I'm very enthusiastic about this course, and I humbly encourage you to sign up for the discourse and start listening to it. Now, let's discuss the format as well. So the discourse will be starting on 25th February. I have a poster from the Bangalore Ashram. So it starts on 25th February till 3rd March, and it's going to be online. The discourse is going to be broadcast live from the Bangalore Ashram. Guruji is going to be doing it in the English language, and let me check the website as well, because so it will be translated live in Hindi. If you're not comfortable with English, if you know somebody who is not comfortable in English, the video is also going to be broadcast live in Hindi as well. Chinese is there, Portuguese is there, Russian is there, Spanish is there, in case you are watching this video somewhere from outside India. So it's all available. The next step is for people like you and I to take some massive action. Now, I cannot miss the Patanjali Yoga Sutras discourse for anything in the world, right? So I'm already signed up. I'll already be attending. For some part of it, I'll also be in the Bangalore Ashram 28 onwards, and for 3 days I'll be listening to the discourse from Delhi, right? You have multiple options now. Number one, click the link below. The program is currently available for just 7,000 rupees. So you enroll and get as many people as possible to get enrolled into this program by Guruji, right? That's option number one. Option number two is that there are multiple groups in Delhi and outside Delhi where people are sitting together from one account. People are pooling in small amounts of cash and people are watching the discourse together. So that option is available as well. If you are from Delhi, there's some information below this video if you want to join a group and pay a small amount of donation and join the other people and watch this knowledge with other people as well. There are options of doing that as well. But whatever it is that you want to do, absolutely do this. Never miss it for anything in the world. That, in my opinion, that's what I can say, right? If you're watching this video till this point, you are at least inclined towards spirituality to at least a certain aspect, at least to a certain extent. And I know for a fact that if you are in your spiritual practices, you will absolutely be successful in your life someday, somehow, someday in your future. And people like you and I are the movers and shakers in India. People like you and I are born to inspire. People like you and I are born to enlighten other people, bring them to this knowledge, so together we can transform India. There is a lot of stupidity going on in India. There's a lot of, when it comes to career, when it comes to the perspectives, the beliefs, the habits which the youth today has. For example, people want to invest in going into parties and burning tens of thousands of rupees in fashion and clothing. But what about your mind? What about your success when it comes to your mind? What about feeding your mind with the profound information and the knowledge which can get you a lot of success in your life? These days, we want to invest in stupid smartphones which are ruining our career, which are instilling bad habits, which is ruining our relationships, which is lowering our confidence. These days, we want to invest so much money in drugs, alcohol, all the bad habits in the world. But who's taking care of your mind? The good news is that 25 years ago, Guruji delivered this discourse, and right now, again, with a very fresh perspective, with a fresh perspective available to the youth in India, with a fresh perspective of how we can apply the knowledge of yoga, spirituality, the spiritual practices, even in the modern world, when you have a lot of gadgets, devices, a lot of marketing messages which are bombarding your head and not allowing you to follow the path of spirituality and achieve success with it. The good news is that it's available starting 25th of February. And all that's left for you to do is take massive action. So you click the link below, get signed up for it. Bye. Jai Gurudev.